Welcome back to Aasai, Rasai, and thanks for checking out this video. I'm making butter chicken today. Let me show you how easily it can be done to get that restaurant taste just with a few ingredients. Into a warm pan, add a little bit of oil and a tablespoon of butter. If you want to add more butter, that's up to you, but a tablespoon works well for me. The oil prevents the butter from burning, so add the oil first and then the butter. Then saute the onions in this buttery oil. Use medium heat. This is going to be a nice and slow process. Don't let the onions burn or caramalize. That's going to change the taste of the sauce. And now I'm adding the cilantro into the onions, cilantro or the coriander leaves, whichever you want to call it. Just finely chop them. I'm using stems as well. Now if you're going to be using the stems, just be sure that they are finely chopped. Otherwise, they become really stringy when they are cooked. This is going to be blended, but still, you want to just take that precaution to finely chop the leaves and the stems. And the red stuff that I put in is the canned tomato paste. You could use the fresh tomatoes as well, but I find that somehow canned tomato gives me the taste that I am used to having in a butter chicken curry. So I'm going to stick with that and add the water. The water can be adjusted as we go along as well. That's some garlic powder, ginger powder, and cumin. At this point, we don't want to add too much water. Just add enough that you could create a thick sauce once it comes out of the blender. We also need to factor in the other liquids we're adding, like the heavy cream that we'll be adding in the end. Here's a little bit of Kashmiri chili powder that I'm using to adjust the color of my sauce. It's red already, but it's not going to be red anymore once it comes out of the blender. Here I have some green cardamom seeds that I have pounded using my mortar and pestle, and I needed 2 teaspoons of this for this quantity of butter chicken curry. If you're using the cardamom powder that's store-bought, I'm not sure in terms of flavor how strong it will be, so you might have to make that adjustment as you keep tasting and as it cooks. So far the ingredients have been cooking for a total of 10 minutes, and I'm adding everything into the blender now. This is going to cook even further once we add the chicken and everything, so we're not done yet, but we're going to blend it and come back. I'm just getting ready to make the chicken, but before that I just wanted to show you what it looks like now that the gravy has been blended. Now into this pan I have added a little bit of oil and I warmed it up. I'm keeping it on about medium-high heat. I'm going to saute this chicken until they're about 3/4 of the way done, and then I'm going to add the sauce or the butter chicken gravy and let the chicken finish cooking in the gravy. I added a little paprika just to give it a deeper, richer look to the overall dish, and some salt. So this is boneless chicken breast and it's going to cook really quickly, so I'm just gonna toss it around as it cooks, and don't cover the pan, just let it fry like this. So butter chicken tends to be a favorite among a lot of people, including my family. So although mainly I try to focus on Sri Lankan food, there are times when I pull up a recipe that's a favorite in Sri Lanka and a favorite of mine too, and that's when I make that exception to upload something like this. When the pieces of chicken look plump and it's putting out water, add the gravy and let it cook covered. So this should simmer on low or medium-low heat because that's what makes the flavors really combine. Another thing is to stir every 10 minutes, and that's to prevent anything from sticking to the bottom of the pan. It also helps to combine and release some of the flavors. So it's a very important part of making curries, the stirring I mean. So continue to cook this way until you feel that the chicken is done. You can test a piece and see. A little bit of brown sugar is what heightens and balances that sweetness in this butter chicken sauce, the sweet and sour taste of the sauce. So this is the heavy cream. I'm adding about 1/4 cup, and that worked for me really well. But if you want a creamier gravy, then add a little more heavy cream. And this should be done at the end. We are not going to cook or boil the heavy cream. It's just going to stir and heat through, and that's about it. There are many ways to make butter chicken, and this is just one way, and I have achieved the restaurant taste with the ingredients that I have shown. But some recipes would call for cashew nuts or fenugreek leaves, maybe a spice mix, and I feel like those are not necessary because this is the taste that I want to achieve. I hope you will like this recipe too. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Like, share, and subscribe to Aasai Rasai. Thanks for watching.